The haptic vibration of my phone instantly cut through my exhaustion. It was an alert from my new home security system. With trembling hands, I expanded the notification, and the thumbnail I saw made me stop breathing. Welcome home. Balloons floated near my kitchen ceiling. I turned on the speaker. Laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the heavy voice of my older brother Julian echoed through. He was standing in my living room, toasting to a new beginning. They were dancing on the hardwood floors I had just gotten polished last week. My sister-in-law, Chloe, sat on my kitchen island drinking wine, as if the house belonged to her. A house whose address no one knew. A house whose only key was with me. I had installed motion-activated cameras just 2 days ago. My name is Maya. I'm 30 years old and a senior architect in Seattle. This is the story of how I reclaimed my rights without losing myself. For the last 6 years, I worked overtime every weekend, sold my car, took no vacations, and saved every month. This lakeside villa was my quiet obsession. I closed on it 3 days ago and told no one. I wanted to surprise everyone after I had settled everything in. But they had found out. They were inside. I leaned my back against the wall of my office and sat down on the floor. What was happening on the screen wasn't just trespassing. It was occupation. We deserve this upgrade. Julian's voice came through the speaker. After so many years of struggle, when others just got everything so easily. Others got everything so easily. My jaw tightened. I worked 80-hour weeks while Julian jumped from one job to another, cursing his luck and borrowing money from me that he never returned. My parents always praised his ambition, while my hard work was always called luck. I watched Julian wave his hands in my living room like he was the king of the place. That room where I first dreamed of sleeping in peace, where I hadn't even spent one night yet. My thumb hovered over the emergency contact. Then, with a strange sense of calm, I called the police. My name is Maya Sterling. I own a house on Willow Creek Lane. Some unauthorized people have broken in. Do you know them? The dispatcher asked. I looked at Julian's arrogant smile on the screen. Unfortunately, I said, my voice stronger than I expected. I know them very well. The drive from my office to my house took 22 minutes. I parked my car where I could see both the front door and my phone screen. Police cars pulled into the driveway. Their red and blue lights colored my white house. On my phone, I saw chaos erupt inside. Chloe was hiding wine glasses, Julian was straightening his shirt, and the kids were running upstairs. When Julian opened the door, his face wore the same old, fake smile he has worn since childhood whenever he got caught stealing. Good evening, officers. Is everything all right? We received a report of some unauthorized individuals here, one officer said. May I ask who owns this property? Julian puffed his chest slightly. This is our new family home. We just closed on it. The lie slipped from his lips so smoothly that perhaps he himself believed it. I stepped out of my car. In my hand was the folder with all the closing documents, wire transfer receipts, the deed, and the mortgage approval in only my name. The cold lake wind hit my face as I walked up the driveway. As soon as Julian saw me, his face went pale. Maya? What are you doing here? He tried to force a fake laugh. I handed the folder to the officer. This is my house. I bought it 3 days ago. These people broke in. The officer checked the papers and looked at Julian, whose smile had now frozen. These documents confirm that Miss Sterling is the legal owner. Sir, if you don't have any proof of ownership, you will need to vacate the property immediately. Chloe appeared at the door, her voice sharp. This is ridiculous, Julian. Tell them. Our parents helped us with this purchase. Maya is confused. "The papers are very clear, ma'am," the officer said. "Miss Sterling, do you want us to issue a trespass warning?" I looked past Julian into the house. A banner hung there. "Congratulations, Sterling family." My family's name, but not their home. "Yes," I said, my voice low but firm. "And I want all of this on record." Julian's face turned red with rage, but he couldn't do a thing in front of the police. For the next 30 minutes, the chaos that unfolded inside my new house was something I had never even imagined in my dreams. "Maya, have you lost your mind? We are your family," Chloe shrieked as the officer motioned for her to leave the kitchen. The children were crying, unable to understand why they were being kicked out of the new house their father had told them was theirs. I didn't say a word. I just stood near the kitchen island and watched as the police escorted them out one by one. As Julian was leaving, he stopped near me and whispered, "This is your biggest mistake. After today, you have no family." When the door closed and the police cars drove away, a terrible silence fell over the entire house. I saw wine stains on my new countertops, cake crumbs on the sofa, and one of the kids had taped a drawing of "Our New Home" on the fridge. I pulled the drawing off in one swift motion and threw it in the trash. There were no tears in my eyes, only a strange clarity. The next morning at 8:43 a.m., my phone started exploding like a bomb. "Mom." "Maya, what have you done? Julian is out on the street. The children are terrified. This kind of arrogance is not okay." "Dad, call right now. We need to resolve this situation. You've dragged the family's honor through the mud by calling the police." "Aunt Sarah, shame on you, Maya. Who does this to their own brother?" The whole family was painting me as the villain. I didn't answer a single call. I emailed all the security footage and the police report to my lawyer. At 3 p.m., the doorbell rang. My parents were standing outside. Their faces wore the same disappointment expression I had seen since childhood. "Maya." My mother tried to step inside, but I blocked the way. "You talk from out there." "What kind of rudeness is this?" my father shouted. "We didn't raise you like this." "Really?" I asked calmly. "Did you raise me to believe that my brother can break the lock on my house and claim it as his own? How did you even find out about this house?" "I didn't tell anyone." My father hesitated slightly. "Well, Jennifer, cousin, has a friend who's a real estate agent. She mentioned you bought a property by the lake. Julian was struggling so much in that small apartment, he thought it would be a family surprise." "Surprise?" I laughed. "A surprise is when you invite someone. Taking over without permission is theft." "Maya, this house is too big for you." My mother started her usual tune. "You're alone. Julian has a family, 3 children. They need this space more. What would it have hurt if you gave them a little room?" "No," I said. Just one word, hard as a stone wall. "I bought this house with my own hard work. Julian has always wanted everything without working for it. If he even comes near this property again, I will file breaking and entering charges." My parents left, cursing me under their breath. I locked the door and turned around to look at my home. I was scared, but for the first time I felt like I had drawn a line in the sand for myself. But Julian wasn't going to give up that easily. He started a campaign on social media, posting crying photos of his children with the caption, "A father found a home for his kids, but his rich sister threw them out on the street. Money has become bigger than relationships." Angry messages started pouring in. Even some of my office colleagues asked if it was true. That's when I decided that the time for silence was over. I messaged Julian. Meet me at Riverside Cafe tomorrow at 1 p.m. We need to talk. Riverside Cafe was crowded with people. Julian was already seated there, wearing the same expensive suit he had probably bought with the money he borrowed from me. His face carried a fake innocence, as if he could still control the situation. "Maya, sit down," Julian said with a smile, as if the hospital police incident had never happened. "I ordered your favorite Earl Grey tea. Look, we're family. Things got a little out of hand, but we can solve this like adults." I pushed the tea he offered aside. "You have 5 minutes, Julian. What do you want to say?" Julian leaned forward slightly, his voice now low and serious. "Mom and Dad talked to me. They believe, and I agree, that the house should be a family asset. You can live there fine, but a part of it should be in mine and the kids' names. After all, we've always shared everything, haven't we?" "Share?" I laughed, and my laugh held more hatred than pain. "You've always learned how to take, Julian, not how to give. Where were you when I was working 70-hour weeks? Where were you when I sold my car? You only show up when it's time to harvest, even though I planted the seeds." Julian's face hardened. "Look, Maya, legal paths are expensive. Our parents are on my side. They'll testify in court that this house was bought with family funds. Do you really want to prove your own parents are liars?" In that moment, I understood how far these people could go. They didn't just want my house. They wanted to turn my entire story of hard work into a lie. "Fine," I said, and pulled out a laptop from my bag. "But first, look at this." I turned the screen toward him. It was security footage. Not from the hospital, but a recording of Julian's call with the real estate agent, Jennifer's friend, that my security system had monitored, because she had tried to hack my smart speaker. In the recording, Julian was clearly saying, "Maya won't even find out. We'll just break in and claim it. Mom and Dad will handle it. They've always kept her down." Julian went pale. "That's not all," I continued. "I've filed an ethics violation case against that real estate agent, and I have a restraining order against you. If you don't delete all those social media posts and publicly apologize by tomorrow morning, this recording goes to the police and your investors." Julian began to plead. "Maya, you can't do this to your own brother." "I'm doing exactly what you did to me," I said calmly. "I've drawn my line in the sand. After today, you are not my family. I am simply the senior architect whose house you tried to rob." I got up and walked out. Julian kept shouting behind me, but I didn't look back. 2 months later, the morning sun on Seattle's lake looked beautiful. There was peace in my new house now. Julian had deleted all the posts and moved to a small apartment on the other side of the city. My parents had stopped talking to me, but their silence was more peaceful than their scolding had ever been. I sat on my deck and drank my tea. I now had a chosen family, friends and colleagues who valued my hard work. One day a box arrived at my door. Inside was an old photo of my grandfather, and on the back, written in his hand, "Protect the walls you built yourself, because the world often tries to tear down those it could never build for itself." I hung that photo in my entryway. Now when I lock my door at night, I don't feel afraid, because this house is not just bricks and mortar. It is my fortress of self-respect.